But I'm not about it was a long night. He did a little thing that I like. Good morning. Good morning. Let me do another one. Good morning. Oh, I got tickle in my nose and my eye. Good morning, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Patience with Spirit. My name is Patience. I'm your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News podcasts on all major platforms. If you like more episode-based, podcast style, topic-based information, metaphysical information, we have our spirit-led podcast on all major platforms. You can find the link to any of our socials and any of those platforms through the link tree. We are happy to have you. Thank you so much for all of the love and support we've been getting. We absolutely think you're amazing. We're so excited how everything's unfolding. And we're just really happy to be here sharing the way that our gifts look for us and sharing with you how we develop them with spirit as our teachers, as our guides, trusting the loving, guiding information they give us and actually applying it to our lives in real time and documenting the data for you on our TikTok and here on YouTube, where we do the majority of our spiritual and psychic development. And we try to post our spirit nuggets and other valuable knowledge and spirit-led information over on TikTok if you want to find that out. We'd absolutely love to have you be part of our tribe, and we're so excited to see who's drawn to us. We're doing energy experiments for reading energy, learning how to read energy. Everyone can read energy. Everyone has a non-physical soul that is electromagnetic, that can and absolutely does pick up on non-physical information that's in the grid or the cloud or whatever you want to call it. It's there and it's available for anyone. Anyone can do it. Everyone's psychic. So we're here guided by spirit to show you what it looks like for us, not for you to do it like us, but to show you that it's being done. And that the more we go into the future, into the new earth energies, there's going to be a lot more purging. There's going to be a lot more learning about your gifts. There's going to be a lot more healing for your emotional well-being. And we're excited to be there for that. People should have judged on their character and not their looks. What am I thinking about you? I don't know. I think you want me to say something that you can troll. I don't know. Your name kind of tells me a clue. Hello, ma'am. Like number 2, when will Rajit unblock Shakara? I don't know. I'm not that kind of psychic. Okay? So we're talking to Lizzie Borden today. And, well, you know what? Let me say that I don't know if it's Lizzie Borden or if it's the people associated with Lizzie Borden. This is a historical figure. Someone gave my throat shakalaka. That was fast. Can you see when Jesus returns? Well, he refers to himself as Yeshua when we talk, and he's already here. He's been here. He never left. I wouldn't even care if you're a dude. Hey, everybody. Hey, Odin. Well, thanks for being here. Good morning, everybody. So we had a thought. We were at a family celebration, and someone mentioned Lizzie Borden, and I've always been fascinated by Lizzie Borden, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I kind of thought of this before, but I'm like, let me start like early. Let's start with early historical figures, because I was thinking, what if we can just talk with this spiritual gift? What if we can just talk to historical figures and find out the truth about our history? You know, like, why do we have to be, you know, relegated to, I don't know if that's a word, relegated, but I used it anyway. I hope it's a real word. What if we don't have to stick to just celebrities? I was thinking like celebrities because, I mean, it's valuable, the messages we get from them, but I was using celebrities, not using them. I was connecting with celebrities because I just thought that would be the easiest to connect with. But who says I can't connect with historical figures like Cleopatra or the founding fathers? I mean, we talked to George Washington a long time ago, but he talks more about his personal life. So it's interesting as the gift develops and unfolds. It's like the more Godfidence I get in the connection, the bigger the messages I receive. So it's just something that I'm observing. The Witch from the Wizard of Oz. Wickedness sick. Good day, my lady. Hello, sir. Good sir. So we're talking to Lizzie Borden. Someone mentioned it at a celebration I was at, and I was like, that would be a good one because it can kind of start me down that road of historical figures and get me like into the feeling of it, into the like vibe of it, and just kind of go from there. Okay, so the necrometer, the first thing the necrometer said this morning was mother, which we'll see how it unfolds. And I have to say this for legal reasons, okay? I can't prove any of this in a court of law. Lilith. And Spirit also said acting out of emotions, and poltergeist. So I can't prove any of this in a court of law. This is all allegedly. Anything that comes out is for entertainment purposes only. We live in a fractal universe, so anything that applies to you in this read, it's because nothing new. Spirit says nothing new is done under the sun. Everything's been done, and everything comes from a macro scale all the way down to a micro scale, and it goes bloop 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 bloop. It goes in. There can be parts of the story that do resonate, and it can be past, present, or future. And there can also be a lot of parts of the story that are similar, but on different timelines, alternate realities, so on and so forth. Okay? So, but whatever we get, it always ends, or we try to always end it in having a valuable lesson. Okay? Because we're supposed to be able to tap into the way that other awakened societies have worked in a golden age, is that they actually use their telepathic abilities that stems from their electromagnetic field, which everybody has, to speak to ancestors and to gain knowledge of like if you need advice, like if you're going through an emotional time, you're supposed to be able to rely on your non-physical allies of spirit team and angels and all that to be able to guide you through those moments. And we don't have that now. And so that's why we're experiencing a lot of emotional upheaval, because we're lacking the spiritual component that helps you to tap into your ancestors' experiences where they've been through that specific thing and they can help you through it. We don't do that nowadays, but if we can start accepting that that's a possible outlet for us, it can really alleviate a lot of the identity crises that the collective is going through right now. Okay, so whatever we get, it will have a valuable lesson at the end. Honestly, no offense, you look like a Simpsons character. You guys are just so obsessed with my light. I'm not gonna mention the light anymore from here on out, and anyone who makes a comment about the light, I just can't, because it's you guys need to use your brain. Okay, I need you to use your brain. I need you to have critical, logical thinking. If I appear yellow, then you have to understand that there is a light source that is illuminating me. Otherwise, this is what it looks like. Okay? I need you to use critical thinking. Okay? I absolutely 100% disagree with everything you think and believe in, but I would absolutely marry you in a heartbeat and listen to all the crazy things you have to say. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing, okay? So, You look exhausted. Get a black man. You'll get some life size again. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Lizzie Borden. You guys know of her? Have you heard of her? Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Okay. Lizzie Borden, Holy Divine Spirit with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, please. Please, I invite Lizzie Borden to my field or her spirit team if she is not ready to come forward with Archangel Michael for protection. Please tell us your perspective of your linear view. What in the hell happened? What happened, Lizzie? Lizzie! What happened, girl? 40 whacks. It actually wasn't 40 whacks. Not to one person. It was... Oh, wait a second. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, Lizzie Andrew Borden, 1860 to 1927. She died in her 60s from pneumonia, I believe. Or some kind of... I believe it was pneumonia. American woman... famous for being tried and acquitted for the brutal 1892 axe murders of her father, Andrew, and her stepmother, Abby, in Fall River, Massachusetts. You guys, that's 25 minutes away from me. 25 minutes. Okay. Okay. There we go. I keep my promises. Okay. The dead know nothing but sleep. Communication with spirits curses your body. Well, that's because you're uneducated. You know, I've had this ability since I was a child. I was born this way. So explain that. Okay. Despite the jury's not guilty verdict, she remained the primary suspect in the eyes of the public and became a central figure in American true crime folklore. On August 4th, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found hacked to death in their home. Contrary to the popular 40 whacks rhyme, Abby received 18 or 19 blows and Andrew received 10 or 9. So let's slap. So let's just evaluate that for a minute. Spirit said mother, and this is the stepmother, and she received more blows than the father. In today's detective investigation true crime realm, we would consider that a crime of passion, and the one who receives the most is the main person of passion. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that the stepmother received more than the father. Okay, so suspicious evidence. Lizzie's behavior raised red flags, including her burning a blue dress in the kitchen stove days after the murders, claiming it was stained with paint, which is a wild... Like, if anyone said that nowadays, we'd be like, guilty! Right? The acquittal. Her defense successfully argued it was inconceivable, quotes, that a well-bred Victorian woman could commit such a heinous act. That was my I won't do that again. Well, that a well-bred Victorian woman, could commit such a heinous act. The lack of direct forensic evidence, like fingerprints on the hatchet, also contributed to her release. And to be fair, like, what other forensic analysis did they really have available back in the day, you know? Slap. Oh my gosh, yeah, slap. Spirit said slap. Okay. So, post-trial, later life and legacy, Lizzie inherited a significant portion of her father's estate and bought a luxurious mansion called Maplecroft. Although she stayed in Fall River, she was largely ostracized by the community. She died of pneumonia in 1927. The site of the murders, they buried her next to her parents. I wonder what happened to her mom. The site of the murders at 232nd Street is now the Lizzie Borden House, operating as a bed and breakfast and museum. So you can actually stay there. And there's actually documented paranormal reports that has paranormal phenomena by the numbers. And Spirit said poltergeists, and poltergeists are the largest cases reported at 207 cases reported. Doors slamming, objects moving, and lights flickering. Do not go. Spirit said do not go. Don't go there, Spirit says. Well, hopefully, by revealing the truth about what happened, we can kind of clear out some of the energy that may have accumulated due to the negative actions that took place there. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Tony, the only spirit there is the Holy Spirit. You can't tell your soul that's a myth. You don't own it. Tarot cards were originally a children's card game. And Spirit has told us not to use tarot cards. Not that I'm against them, but because Spirit is omnipresent and this is a hologram. And so Spirit is not regulated. Spirit can use anything to communicate with you. You just have to be receptive to it. And it doesn't have to be only tarot cards. So that's why Spirit lets us use game cards and books and even just positivity cards, and there's no even words. Spirit loves vocabulary. There's no rules or regulations on the way that God can speak to you. And so if you are limiting yourself to limitations, then you limit the way God can speak to you, or you limit the way God can have an experience with you. Okay, so thank you for bringing that up. I love ghost hunting. I love ghost hunting too, but Spirit says don't go, because unless you're in a heart space, an activated heart space, and you have done a lot of healing, what can happen? You need your field. If you're going to go into places like the Lizzie Borden house, where like a really dense action happened, that territory, it creates a portal. And if your electromagnetic field is not cleared of all the debris or healed, or if it's not back to its true state of being like a marble, clear as a marble, that's the metaphor Spirit gave me for it, then anything that has come through that portal that's of a lower dimensional essence, you're going to be susceptible to it. It's going to find a way through a crack in your field, and that's when you can be subtly influenced through inception of intrusive thought by lower dimensional astral entities that were matching the portal that was created in that territory or that area. So that's why Spirit says don't do ghost hunting unless you are in a place electromagnetically to repel energies that don't match you, because then you run the risk of getting an energy attachment. Okay, so that was for somebody. There's been 38 phantom smells, 88 visual apparitions, 134 physical sensations, 162 disembodied voices, and 207 poltergeists. Okay. Hot spots in the house are the John Morse guest room, the parlor, and the basement. Okay, so I just want to ask a question. What happened to Lizzie Borden's mother? No, not her stepmother. I want to know about her mom. What happened to Lizzie Borden's mom? That's Lizzie. It doesn't say anything about her mom. That's wild. Lizzie's mother. Oh, 3 years after the death of her mother. Oh, Andrew Borden married Abby Dufresne Gray 3 years after the death of Lizzie's mother. Okay. Lizzie later stated that she called her stepmother Mrs. Borden and demurred on whether they had a cordial relationship. Falsify. Oh. She believed that Abby had married her father for his wealth. Andrew killed multiple pigeons in his barn with a hatchet, believing that they carried infectious diseases. A family argument in 1892 prompted both sisters to take extended vacations to New Bedford. They returned to Fall River a week before the murders, and Lizzie chose to stay in a local rooming house for 4 days before returning to the Borden residence. Well, let's see. Okay, and then I got a song. I did get a song. Met him at a party was a long night. And this song is actually fire. I had to save it because I liked it so much. I shuffled and Spirit gave it to me. It's called Got It Like That. Undismayed. It's called Got It Like That by Jay Steffens. Met him at a party was a long night. He did that little thing I like. You can ask me once or twice, but never 15 times. That's interesting. You can ask me once or twice, but never 15 times. So I had to tell him bye-bye. Nice try. Good night. They go loco, 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 thinking this is a race. But they don't know how to keep a good pace. We could have had a really good time, but we ain't no Bonnie and Clyde. So I'll see you on the flip side. I'm tired. Good night. I'm going to tell you a secret. Know if you really want to keep it. I got to know that you mean it. Don't try to push me in the deep end. 'Cause I know your type. I know you. I know what you like. Let me show you. Now you got it so bad. Good to know you. You think you got it like that, but you don't. These guys, they always got a one-track mind. I'm a once in a lifetime, but they want it all in one night. So I leave them at a red light. Peace sign, goodbye. They go so low, trying to test their luck. But they don't know. I'm no quick. You could have been a really nice guy if you didn't cross 9 lines. I've been getting that number 9 a lot lately. You put up, which I think is 1313. Clearly lyrics referencing the AIDS epidemic. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you. Oh wait, you put up a pretty good fight. Surprise me next time. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Female energy. Know if you really want to keep me. I gotta know that you mean it. Don't try to push me in the deep end. So that's interesting. Crack a bottle on you. I don't say give a fuck about what you say. I don't give a fuck about what you say. Crack a bottle on you. I won't debate. I'm not afraid. Hands off my waist, boy. Get out my way. Gotta get on my wave. You think you got it like that, but you don't. Make no mistakes, we are not the same. You tried your game, but only got played. Saw it coming from about a mile away. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Know if you really want to keep me. Interesting, right? Interesting that it specifically says crack a bottle on you. I don't give a fuck about what you say. So definitely some anger. Okay, a slap. Oh my gosh, I'm not excited that this happened, but I'm excited to see what comes out. Okay, where should we go? Let's get a vibe. Let's get a baseline vibe. Lizzie, give us a little baseline. We're going to do imagine ifs. Okay, we'll do imagine ifs. Lizzie, Please give us a baseline. What is the vibe about your situation? 4. Imagine if Lizzie were a condiment. She'd be ketchup. Oh, that's so funny because she burned her dress that had the paint on it, or the paint on it. So if she were a condiment, ketchup. 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 If Lizzie Borden were a condiment, a common condiment, something very common. Evangelist. Common ketchup. Okay, a common condiment, ketchup. 5. Imagine if Lizzie Borden had to live in the land of the endless season. Football. Which season would she choose? Football. A game? Commonly used or played like a game? Used commonly like a condiment, like it was a game? 5. Spirit said evangelist. So strong religious beliefs. Imagine if Lizzie Borden moved to a new neighborhood and knew no one. What would she do? Throw a party for the neighbors. Well, nobody wanted to be her neighbor after this fiasco. Okay. 2. Imagine if Lizzie Borden could enjoy one of life's little luxuries every day. Which would she choose? An ironed newspaper, which says to me about the Victorian. What was it? Let me look at that again. That was funny. It was Victorian, a well-bred Victorian woman, because apparently they had a lot of money. Her father had a lot of textile plants, which made them very abundant. Okay. Throw a party for the neighbors. Football. 2. Imagine if Lizzie Borden were a feeling. What would she be? Tired. All right, let me roll again. 3. Imagine if Lizzie Borden had written the first line of a song. Ground control to Major Tom, commencing countdown, engines on, under football. Ground control to Major Tom. What's that song even about? Let me find out. What is the song Ground Control to Major Tom about? Astronaut. David Bowie's 69 Space Oddity tells the story of Major Tom, an astronaut whose mission goes wrong, leading him to abandon his return to Earth. When it's resolved, return to Earth and float in space. It explores themes of alienation, perils of space exploration, and metaphorically drug addiction. Oh my gosh, that's so funny because Lizzie Borden's eyes in the picture I chose are so dilated. They're like, the black part of her eye is so big. I don't know if the flash photography, I don't know like what the capabilities of photography or lighting were back then, but it's a clear photo and it seems pretty well lit, and the black part of her pupils is extremely wide. So that's interesting. Okay. Thank you. A successful launch, a malfunction occurs, 1920s. Leaving Tom drifting in his tin can, accepting isolation above the world. And that's funny because it says that she I mean, she was ostracized for, even though she was found not guilty, she was ostracized for, you know, the proximity of being associated with the brutal axe beatings of her parents. So she was ostracized, leaving her in isolation, um, or having to accept isolation from the world. And she could have possibly had some kind of drug addiction. I wonder what kind of drugs they were doing in the 1800s. Let me see. I want to know that. 1892. Let me see. What? Oh, wait. What kinds of drugs were popular in 1892? Opium, laudanum, opium combined with alcohol, and cocaine were popular, widely used in largely unregulated intentional injuries. Substances often found in patent medicines used for pain or stimulation. Morphine. Wow. And ephedrine, along with alcohol, nicotine, and caffeine. Wow. Interesting. So she could have been on some kind of drugs. Are you one of those people that go to the crime scene and piece together what happened using your powers? Oh my God, I would love that. I would love that, actually. If I could use my abilities to solve crime, I'd be like Minority Report. Except I wouldn't convict people before they did it. You know, they have to like have done it. Obviously, we don't convict people before they do anything. So I told you the answer before you looked it up. Look at your feed. Oh, let me see. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Lion. I don't see it. Lion. I think one of the moderators might have got rid of it. I love Minority Report too. Savannah Guthrie's mom? Savannah? You mean Virginia Guthrie? Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Robin! Hey, Robin! Love you, girl. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Blessings to you. Okay, so she could have possibly, and you know, the cool thing I posted for TikTok that I was going live at 6 a.m. and they have the AI thing where it reanimates the picture. So you should check that out if you want. It's really cool. Okay. So something about, let me see, some kind of mission went wrong, something, and she said when it's resolved, intentional injuries, shrine, and evangelist. Okay. So something about feeling abandoned, something about drug addiction that may have led to perils of exploration and alienation. Okay. I'm going to do 2 more imagine ifs and then we'll do a different game. I rolled a 3. Hello from California. I'm in Rhode Island. Lizzie Borden happened in Fall River, which is not far from here. While I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind, I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. Ooh, I like that. 1414. Imagine if Lizzie Borden were a city, which would she be? 3, Paris. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of ooh, throat shakalaka. Get out of there. Who's telling me to shut the F up? Don't worry, I won't. I love lyrics as well, Robin. You should put those lyrics into Suno. It's so much fun. I can't get enough of it. I've never liked music so much. You know, since we can't listen to the music they're making lately, I'm going to make my own music. Nature finds a way. Paris, throw a party for the neighbors. You know, I'm getting the vibe that, you know, Lizzie Borden likes a really comfortable life. She likes to be the center of attention. She likes to be, all up in the business of the neighbors, and she wants the people around her to think that she has, I don't know, some kind of, outward appearance of, what was it? I can't even remember what they say because it's so ridiculous. It said, a well-bred Victorian woman. A well-bred Victorian woman would never. If she would, she would. She would. It's those well-bred Victorian people doing the most, okay? Lizzie Borden was a narcissist. It's possible. Holy Divine Spirit, please remove any blockages being thrown at my throat chakra. Thank you. Okay, I rolled a 1. Imagine if Lizzie Borden were going on a picnic. Which would she consider essential? Sandwich and a coffee. Okay. Interesting. It doesn't say because there's champagne and caviar. Interesting. There's a whole other bunch of options, but she chose sandwich and a coffee. Interesting. Under an ironed newspaper. I got what you're saying. Pretentious youth. Pretentious youth. Ooh. Pretentious. Let me just look up what pretentious means. Pretentious. Attempting to oppress by affecting greater importance, talent, culture than is actually possessed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So basically she's pretentious, she's somebody who wants to, she comes from money, and so she has this chip on her shoulder that she wants to appear outwardly like something she's not, or something that she's not internally. She might be wealthy externally through her father, but she doesn't have, she's not rich internally, or I don't know, something like that. She wants to carry an ironed newspaper. She wants her newspaper ironed, but she's a simple girl, sandwich and coffee, something like that. Okay? Okay, tell us more about yourself, Lizzie. Tell us more. Let's do win, lose, or draw. Lizzie, what else? And that song is interesting as well, because it says, crack a battle on you, I don't give a fuck about what you say. So definitely a lot of conflict. Make no mistake, we are not the same, which kind of alludes to an iron newspaper and a sandwich and a coffee. So this could be some kind of headbutting between opposing belief systems, or what's that word when dang it, what's that word when someone comes from not money and then someone does come from money? What's the word for that? I don't know what the word for that is, but something about that. Lizzie judging possibly the stepmother for not being as high status or something as her, or something, some kind of competition. Okay. Oh, nepotism. That's a good word for maybe what more about Lizzie Borden, but I'm not sure. Lizzie, tell me about your stepmother. How did you feel about your stepmother? How did you feel about your stepmother? Many hands make light work. Sales pitch. Sales pitch. Many hands make light work. What's that mean? Many hands make... It kind of reminds me of yesterday. My daughter and my son started helping me clean. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier to clean the whole house when I have help. Lizzie Borden. We're talking to Lizzie Borden today, Adrian. Many hands make light work. Let me see. Spirit said thought. Many hands make light work. tasks are easier, faster, and less burden. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, so their sales pitch. So Lizzie Borden may have viewed her stepmother as being fake, like the stepmother may have been laying it on thick for, doing housework and making herself, appear to be, and I don't know if she was appearing to be or she actually was, but the way that Lizzie Borden was looking at her was like she's doing too much to fit in. She was basically jealous of the stepmother or something. There's some kind of competition here. The stepmother may have felt like, Lizzie, you need to do more work. You need to help me around the house. I need you to start pulling your weight around here, type of thing, Okay. Tell me more about your stepmother. I also have sales pitch. So, but it's in reverse. So Lizzie Borden could have thought, I don't need you to tell me what to do. Who are you? You're just here for the money. You're not something like, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my mother, type of thing, You're just here for the money. You're just doing work around the house like a sales pitch, but it's in reverse. So it might not have been true. That just might be the way Lizzie was perceiving. Right as rain and putting the cart before the horse. Putting the cart before the horse and right as rain. What's right as rain mean? Right as rain. Be as right as rain. Be perfectly fit and well. She'll be as right as rain in a couple days. Of a person. Be perfectly fit and well. Putting the cart before the horse. Okay. Spirit said explore. Let me see. Putting the cart before the horse. To do things in the wrong order or to reverse the proper sequence of events. It advises prioritizing planning in proper order, focusing on results before foundational steps are in place. Interesting. Doing things backwards or in the wrong, illogical order. Jumping the gun, counting your chickens before they hatch. Buying the furniture for the house you haven't bought yet. Planning how to spend money before you have it secured. Yeah. And right as rain. Right as rain is be perfectly fit and well. So Lizzie Borden may have had a perspective of her stepmother as, always doing something, or it could be the stepmother looking at Lizzie, giving Lizzie a hard time about the way that house chores are done and, needing it to be a specific way and that driving Lizzie crazy, like always needing it to be a specific way or nothing she did was ever right, or Lizzie not wanting to do it the way that the stepmother wanted to be done because she doesn't have desire for control. This happened moons ago. It did. Okay, tell me more about the stepmother. Funny money. Lay down the law in reverse. Funny money and lay down the law. Lizzie's stepmother may have been giving her a hard time for what she'd spend her money on. Lizzie might have been a person that was always had these like big fantastical dreams about what she was going to do with her father's money, but yet she may have been projecting onto the stepmother that the stepmother only wanted to be with the father for the money. And yet here's Lizzie who's, funny money, who's claiming that the stepmother comes from funny money, but yet here's Lizzie trying to dictate silly, frivolous things that she wants to spend the money on, that don't really make sense. Okay. Putting the cart before the horse. It bothers me. What would drive a girl to pick up an axe if it had to be abused hardcore? Yeah. There's something. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm asking myself that too. I want to know. I've always wanted to know. So, I hope we get some answers. I'm not doing tarot cards. We don't use tarot cards here. We're not against them. We love tarot, and tarot's awesome. But spirit guides us to use game cards and books and other and like vocabulary, like other ways to read energy to make it more fun. Funny money and lay down the law. Yeah, and this spirit said desire for control. So there's two. I'm getting really two feminine energies that are, in conflict all the time. They have opposing beliefs. One could be very evangelistic, very religious, and one's a little more. Lizzie, tell me about yourself. Be honest. Like, tell me about yourself. Tell us the truth. Was the stepmother right? With hat in hand. Close shave. With hat in hand. What's that mean? With hat in hand. Humbly asking for a favor. English business idiom. It's not always comfortable to show humility. Often you have to do it when you are embarrassed. Close shave. So Lizzie is admitting that she couldn't admit that she was wrong. That she was embarrassed. That she didn't have the humility to listen to her stepmother. Why did you have such a problem with your stepmother? Like, what was it about her? Why did you feel that you couldn't have humility around her? Barking up the wrong tree. Top drawer. Barking up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree. Pursuing a mistaken line of thought, accusing the wrong person, or wasting effort on a false lead. Trigonal? Trigonal? What's trigonal mean? Spirit just said trigonal. Let me see. Trigonal? Triangular and cross section. Three-dimensional. She was being very three-dimensional. She was barking up the wrong tree. Her issue may have been projected on the stepmother because she didn't recognize some kind of emotional blockage that she may not have been able to identify. And that's under angry. Barking up the wrong tree. So who are you actually mad at? If your anger is being projected onto the stepmother, but you were barking up the wrong tree, then what was the source of your anger then? Bury the hatchet. Bury the hatchet. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Spilling your guts in reverse and bury the hatchet. Wow, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Ow. Oh, I got a pimple in my ear or something. Ow. Or a cut or something. Bury the hatchet. Bury the hatchet.
Bury the hatchet around Middleborough.
Aging. To end a disagreement, make peace and reconcile with someone, letting go of past conflicts or hostilities, often figuratively burying a weapon as a sign of truce. Aging. So there's some kind of hostility, spilling your guts in reverse. What's the idiom top drawer? What does the idiom top drawer mean? Used in reference for high social position or class. Bury the hatchet, spilling your guts. Bury the hatchet, spilling your guts. Is this 15? Is this something having to do with your mother, Lizzie? Because her mother died, and then 3 years later, the father was remarried. So is this about your mother? Fresh as a daisy, stick in the mud in reverse. Fresh as a daisy. Fresh as a daisy. Someone who is well rested, full of energy, and refreshed. Stick in the mud. Aww. There might have been something unresolved when her mother passed, something that was left unsaid, something that she couldn't express emotion about or talk to anyone about, something she had to bury the hatchet about. She was like almost like forced to just let it go, not any resolution or having emotional resolve about the death of her mother. And it may have been when a new mother came into the picture, because that unresolved emotional trauma was not processed, it may have been projected onto the new mother. So it definitely may have played a role. Okay. I'm sorry if I can't read all the comments. I can't channel and read comments at the same time all the time. What's a stick in the mud? Never heard of it before. Okay. Stick in the mud. A person who is dull and unadventurous and who resists change. Yeah, so there may have been some kind of resentment towards the father for, moving on, but not actually like talking about the trauma of losing the mother. Maybe we could there's no information on how the mother died, at least not that I could find online. If anyone uncovers research about that, I'd love to know. But as of now, there's a lot, there may have been some kind of connection to losing the mother emotionally. I'm going to do one more win, lose, or draw. So the bringing up of the mother may have been something that was shot down a lot, something that wasn't allowed to be processed. For instance, Lizzie would bring it up around 15 years old, or Spirit said 15, but it doesn't have to be 15. But and she could say, "What happened to mother? How can you replace mother? What about mother? There's no one that's as fresh as a daisy like mother." And the loss of her mother may have made her depressed, a stick in the mud, depressed. Someone who's dull and resistant to change, unadventurous. Someone who lacks inspiration. Okay. Okay. A stitch in time saves 9. Didn't I say 9? And the song says 9 as well. The song said 9 as well. If you didn't cross 9 lines, a stitch in time saves 9. Let me look that up. A stitch in time saves 9. If you sort out a problem immediately, it may save a lot of extra work later. Gets my goat. Gets my goat. Gets my goat. Irritates someone. It really gets my goat. A stitch in time saves 9. Yeah, so something that really irritated her about the passing of her mother that was unresolved really played a role in her and her projection to the stepmother. Okay. All right. What do you want us to know about your mother, Lizzie? What is it that you couldn't let go of about your mother, that you were forced to. It's almost like we're not going to talk about this anymore, Lizzie, you know? Like, just shut down. You know, we're not. She may have kept bringing something up that she wanted answers for from the father, and the father may have, like, shut it down. Okay? Where should we go? Um, thankful. Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. She's thankful for her mother. She may have been really close to her mother, and that's why it was such a burden for her. She couldn't just bury the hatchet. She wanted the father to spill his guts about what happened, house, family, security, comfort. Yeah, she wanted answers about what happened. Fox, suspicion, suspicious, something suspicious. Fox, trickery, wrongness, clever, caution. Something about the security of home being taken away because of some kind of suspicion on the father, or what happened to the mother. What happened to the mother? Heart. You start to feel your heart beat faster as you get closer. Yeah, she may have wanted answers from her father about what happened to her mother, or at least have some kind of closure, or some kind of heart to heart about the father's love, about how the father felt about the death, some kind of emotional closure. You believe in the chat or get the hell out. You behave in the chat or get the hell out. Thank you. We all sick in the head depending on how you look at it. What you feel is sick might be a cure to others. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. You need to eat more high quality meat. Your face screams starving ration type. And if that's your opinion, I'm trying to figure out what's going on right now. My mind all over the place. Let go. Hats. Oh, Spirit said hats. Oh my God. Spirit said hats right when I drew a card that I was going to put over with hat in hand. So something about the father didn't want to address the death of the mother or something, because it may have, if he did, it may affect his wealth. Like it could have been a scandal, or it could have looked bad on him. So he would always shut it down, or she knew that I heard a tap, thank you. There's some kind of suspicious, well, I don't know, let's see. Maybe I'll try one more time. How did Lizzie Borden's biological, dang it. How did Lizzie Borden's biological mother die? Ah, damn it. How did Lizzie Borden's biological mother die? I had to do it so fast. Combination of uterine congestion and spinal disease. What? Uterine congestion? She was 39. And there were 2 other daughters as well. 6. Borden's biological mother, Sarah Anthony Morse Borden, died at 39 when Lizzie was only 2 years old. According to historical records, she passed from a combination of uterine congestion and spinal disease. What the fudge is uterine congestion? Let me see. What is uterine congestion? Pelvic congestion syndrome, a chronic condition caused by the development of varicose veins around the uterus, ovaries, and pelvis due to faulty vein valves. This allows blood to flow backward and pool, resulting in chronic, dull, aching pelvic pain that typically worsens after long periods of sitting or standing. Huh. Pain during intercourse, heavy periods. Huh. Often related to pregnancy, which increases pressure on pelvic veins, hormonal changes, often accompanied by varicose veins on the vulva, buttocks, and thighs. Diagnosed by specialists using imaging studies like transvaginal ultrasound, MRI, and pelvic venography. Minimally invasive procedures like ovarian vein embolization coiling are highly effective for treating the underlying vein issue. A hidden condition because it can be missed by non-specialized doctors. Interesting.
You should leave immediately.
You should leave immediately. I guess they were able to find that out back then. What was the other cause? And spinal disease. So she had uterine congestion and spinal disease? Like what? What is spinal disease? A broad range of disorders affecting the vertebrae, discs, muscles, or nerves of the spine, often causing pain, limited mobility, neurological issues like numbness and weakness. Degenerative. I mean, she's only 39. Huh. She's only 39. So she had a hunchback? Spinal tumors, infections, fractures. Herniated disc, scoliosis. Degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis.
Martha.
Interesting. Spirit, can you tell me something about the mother's sicknesses? I feel like that's kind of a lot for one person. Like, why
Take a right soon.
take a right soon? Aging, old age, maturity. Lily. Oh my gosh, Spirit said Lilith earlier, and aging. Virtue, wisdom. Huh. But she was only 39, so why was she aging so greatly? Wisdom as light as a feather. Little owlin. The fairy bee, my life is sweet. Wisdom as light as a feather, and my life is sweet. Happy, embrace your loving connection and be happy. Let's do a mind trap. Tell me about the mother. Why was the mother so sick at 39? What is very unusual about the following words? Boff, cough, bow, cough, dough, rough, through. They all end in O-U-G-H and none of them rhyme. They all end in O-U-G-H and none of them rhyme. What's unusual about... Yeah, there's something unusual here. Because the only thing that... Cough... I wonder if Lizzie has seen her mother on the other side. Oh, probably. There's something unusual going on here with the mother. Why was she so sick? Cough. Rough. Dough. Beau. Shadow was vacationing on the Isle of Beguile. 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 Beguile? Charm or enchant someone in a deceptive way. Beguile. The Isle of Beguile. It's funny it says charm or enchant someone. While walking along the beach, Shadow was approached by two ladies and introduced themselves as Josie and Cricket. Cricket said to Shadow, "I am a native, but Josie is a visitor." And the two ladies, both natives, both visitors. I am a native, but Josie is a visitor. Spirit, are you saying that the father could have been having an affair with Abby, the woman he married 3 years after the death of the mother? He could have already been having an affair
Beware of spirit possession.
with this woman. Beware of spirit possession. I am a native, but Josie is a visitor. Are the two ladies both natives, both visitors, or one of each? Both the women are natives. Yeah, the father could have been having an affair with this person while still married, while Lizzie was 2 years old, but there's something about him having an affair. What about it? In Okmulgee, Oklahoma, you cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg. Why not? You cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg anywhere. You need a camera. Groan. You cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg anywhere.
Not so.
Not so. You cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg. Something about not wanting to have his picture taken with his mistress or something, or not wanting to be seen with his mistress, needing to get someone out of the way. I don't know what I'm reading. This is wild. I don't know what. A balanced scale is perfectly balanced when there are 3 cans of beer on one side of the scale and 1 can of beer on 1/2 pound bar gold on the other side. Since all the cans of beer are exactly the same size and weight, how much does 1 can of beer weigh? The solution becomes surprisingly simple if we determine what would happen by removing 1 can of beer from each side. We would then have 1/2 pound bar of gold on one side and 2 cans of beer on the other. This is some kind of removal of
Peering into the future.
peering into the future. Oh my gosh. The thing that always shocks me is that it is 90%, it's always rich people. It's always rich people who are doing divination, who are emotionally constipated, who have superiority complexes. It's always rich people who want to use psychics to peer into the future. This mistress who ended up marrying Mr. Borden, because Mr. Borden is a very wealthy multi-textile plant owner. Okay? A very wealthy man. Like, for that time, he's very wealthy. This person he's having an affair with is also a wealthy person, or wants to be. I'm not sure. You know what? Let me see. What's that girl's name? Abby. Did Abby Borden come from money? She was 37 years old and considered to be an old maid when they married. Abby used the Dufresne to link her with one of the first families in the area. An old maid? Because she's 37, she's considered an old maid? Abby Dufresne Gray. Was Abby Dufresne Gray wealthy? No. Was Abby Dufresne Gray come from money? There's not much about her. English and Welsh descent. I don't know. It doesn't have much about her. Huh. She was 37 when they got married, though. 3 years later. Cigarettes. Interesting. So it doesn't really say. It doesn't say if she came from money. But this reading does say that she was interested in balancing the scales, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that's interesting. Does this girl interact with the chat? I try to, but it's hard to stay connected and channel the messages and talk at the same time, because often what you guys will be talking about is like a little bit different than the reading. So I try my best, but please don't take it personally if I don't read it. As long as you're rich mentally and spiritually, everything else will fall into place. Absolutely. We want to be rich in spirit. You be rich in spirit, you can be rich in many other things. So we just uncovered possibly some kind of drama of the father possibly having an affair before the passing of the mother. And I don't really get the vibe that the father, you know what, how can I find that out? Probably. And Lizzie Borden may have had some questions to the father or even to the mother. Like, that might have been why she was so upset at the stepmother. Maybe she thought she did something to the mother, Maybe she thought she did something to the mother to get rid of the mother so she could balance the scales and take the mother's place, okay? So technically at the time, if the father was having an affair and the mother died when she was 39, then that means that the Abby was younger at the time. She would have been younger than the mother during the affair. And then the father, the mother dies, and then 3 years later, because the father's like, well, we have to make it look like we weren't having an affair. So we need time to go by before I can officially marry you. And she ends up turning 37. So that's interesting. And the father marries her. I mean, she's younger than the father, but she's also younger than the mother. So that's interesting. Yeah, the wealth divide is only growing wider these days. Did you read me? I dated Lizzie Borden's great-granddaughter. Oh, interesting. I didn't know Lizzie...
Spirit is at the location.
I didn't know she had any children. I can't make it up because he was having an affair. And one of these women Abby might have been responsible for balancing the scales. Tell me about this affair. Oh. Numbers. Something done in numbers, something done many times, something done over and over again, something's not adding up. Something might not have added up to Lizzie. Some kind of very immature child battle axe. Spirit just said battle axe. Spirit just said battle axe. Yeah, this stepmother, she was trying to arrange the pieces so that she would be the one to be with the husband. Okay, so she was trying to get rid of the mother. I don't know in what way. Maybe perhaps, poisoning of some kind. Some pancakes, please. Good choice, coming right up. And this is Fall River, Massachusetts, so it could have something to do with spell work or poison or something about wanting to balance the scales and replace, wanting to replace someone. Okay, Puss in Boots. Yeah, wanting to be part of a royal lineage or part of a wealthy elite, Lizzie Borden may have had a bad feeling about the stepmother, and they were always had opposing opinions. And the father may not have wanted to talk about the affair because it would ruin his reputation, and he didn't want anything to ruin his reputation or his business or for it to affect his business because he has a lot of business things going on. And Mama may have known that would be a reason to give him a special crown. Please help Joey with the ladder. Yeah. Something that wasn't adding up. The math isn't mathing. Let's march for math. The math wasn't mathing. Yeah, there's something about him being exalted, He may have had a really arrogant attitude towards any of his wrongdoings, Like, follow me blindly and do what I say. Don't question what I do. You don't have a say. You don't question me. That might have been the conflict in the song. We're not the same. You put up a pretty good fight. Surprise me next time. I'm going to tell you a secret. No, if you really want to keep me, I got to know that you mean it. Don't try to push me in the deep end because I know your type. I know what you like. Let me show you. Now you got it so bad. Good to know you. You think you got it like that, but you don't. Get on my wave. Get on my wave. Hands off my waist. I won't debate. I'm not afraid. Crack a bottle on you. I don't give a fuck about what you say. Yeah, so there's definitely some kind of arrogance. And then this kind of gives me the two other siblings, you know, following this father figure blindly, you know, like not questioning. But I do have a magnifying glass here, so maybe that's Lizzie, you know, starting to question the affair, you know, because it happened when she was 2, but there may have been something she saw or something wasn't, the math wasn't mathing. And so instead of directing her, it's kind of feels like knowing something's fishy about a situation, but the people involved are not talking, and every time you try to inquire about it, you get shut down immediately. And so you start projecting your anger onto, you know, the people in the vicinity, because you know that something's wrong, and you have this wound of your mother dying, not getting to know your mother, and then thinking that, you know, 2 people that are in your life could have been responsible for that. It kind of feels like that. Respect commands. Respect commands. Respect is not given nor earned. Truth is given and earned. I don't know. Spirit tells me that he took advantage of his daughters. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Brian? Huh. Pushed. Interesting. Look at this. It's interesting, this girl in front of the placement of this girl in front of the police officer and where their hands are at. Curiosity. Huh. And she has a bird cage in a gold cage. We're talking about rage. She was full of rage, and when you're full of rage, something has had to build up for a long time. If somebody took advantage of me, I would have had to give them a couple whacks. It says pet show. Pet show today. That's interesting. I think this is Lizzie right here with the birds, because I read something about how she made a coop for pigeons in the barn house or something because she cared about the pigeons, and then the father came along and killed all the pigeons because he said that they were disease infected. But look at this guy. Putting on a show. It kind of is giving me that vibe of like this, you know, when there's a sibling or a person that's being abused and the abuser will always, you know, be worse to them than the other siblings because subconsciously they know that they're abusing them, so they like treat them worse than the other siblings. It's kind of like that. A pigeon is typically a sucker or a chomp. Tell me about your relationship to your father. What was your relationship to your father, Lizzie? What was your relationship to your father? Your family won't like me. Three. Your family won't like me. I still don't have all the answers. I told you she hates her dad because her dad doesn't tell her what truly happened. Words hurt. Words do hurt. I know you. I know you. Just like the song said, I know your type. I know you. I could be your hero. Puss in Boots. I don't want to. I don't want to. I think we should see other people. I dream about you a lot. I just want you all the time. There might be something here about the father. I just want you all the time. I think we should see other people. I know you. I could be your hero. Let me do more. Look 10 years older from the neck up or the neck down. Why? Again, back to the aging thing. The mother was aging rapidly. Something about rapid aging. And what is your favorite picture of me? Window or aisle seat? Cook or order in? What was the first thing you bought with your own money? I could be your hero, baby. What the fuck?
In the silence of night.
Ugh. I didn't want to say what I was getting, but okay, there's something about, there is just definitely something about the father having a wandering eye or having, I just want you all the time, you know. Lizzie may have had a attachment to her father because he may have possibly had relations with her, and so that could have been the competition between her and the stepmother. Yeah, between us, who has a younger heart? Because the father already had an affair with a younger person. And there's something about the mother aging rapidly and being replaced by somebody younger than her. But the father already, I don't know, there's some point in time where he started possibly having time with Lizzie. And it seems to be Lizzie, not the other siblings. You know, something that was just between them. And I'm not sure why, but I don't know how I can let's look in the dream decoder. Lizzie, because the song says, I know what you like, let me show you. Now you got it so bad, good to know you. You think you got it like that, but you don't. Hands off my waist, get out of my way. Don't try to push me in the deep end. I gotta know that you mean it. I won't debate, I'm not afraid. Crack a bottle on you, I don't give a fuck about what you say. Make no mistake, we are not the same. You tried your game but only got played, saw it coming from a mile away. I'm gonna tell you a secret, say it. Know if you really want to keep me, I gotta know that you mean it.
Female energy.
Female energy. There's something about the stepmother confronting Lizzie about her weird infatuation with her father, or her relationship with her father, because Lizzie has a distorted, like, relationship with her father where she views the stepmother as some kind of,
To prevent suffering.
I don't know, something that is getting in the way of that, you know. It was often the noisy, quarrelsome vampire. Spirit just said vampire.
This place is haunted.
This place is haunted. There was farsightedness when it came to majesty. There was frequent military battles that were noisy and quarrelsome, that represented their family. The appearance was a dream. There was a suggestion for a need to escape, for peace and quiet. But birds of prey indicated that there was a hunter, that there's a predator that had bursts of energy that needed to represent a traditional, that needed to represent, to look traditional. But they were a bird of prey, someone who was considered authority, who had respect, who was looked up to those around them. But they were holding back people from achieving their dreams in this family dynamic. They were miserable.
Yes.
She was miserable because she's caged, a caged bird. She's miserable. She's caged by the father. The father keeps her around on a short leash. But he's some kind of predator, some kind of bird of prey. Hopelessness in a partner. She felt like she was being swept along by forces outside of her control. She was trying to be prevalent in somebody's life because she learned that she had no conscious control of the direction of her life, and so she felt hopelessness. She felt stuck in a situation that she couldn't escape from because her feelings of joy were a dream. They weren't in waking life. But the one person that made her feel any kind of happiness treated her like an object, like she was a duplicate object, a partner. The person that she wanted to be her partner was sharing her, but it had to appear a certain way. And so she wasn't provided joy openly. So the father could have treated her very military, very strict in front of people, but then behind closed doors, he's, making her feel like, this is his daughter, a relationship of love with his daughter. But she feels like hopelessness because there's no way for them to ever have a relationship that is the ideal, happiness, because it has the stepmother in it. And the stepmother already did something to the mother to get rid of the mother. Or the father did, I don't know. But she was willing to cooperate for consideration and trust, because very few relationships are ideal. She's trying to make the best of it. Well, it's not ideal, but at least I'm part of a wealthy family or something, making excuses. It was a dream that her partner's form was different from their appearance in waking life. So she had some kind of, she was perceiving her relationship with her father as worth cultivating the appearance of, even though she felt hopelessness. This is a competition between Abby and the daughter. Okay. Sombreros. Spirit said sombreros. She found the partner unpleasant and deliberately ignoring her. They were fighting all the time, talking in each other's faces. She didn't know the best way to improve the matter because they're both having affairs with the father. There's no way to take steps to resolve the issue between them. Mother. She wasn't given unconditional love. It was possessiveness, destruction, malevolent secrecy, and poisonous competition. She was arguing with her stepmother about her behavior and attitude towards the relationship with her father. She was confronted daily by the mother about the way she interacted with the father, because she's looking for love from the father openly, but the father doesn't want to give her that kind of attention openly because it's not appropriate. Okay, and he's married. Do you admire her? And so the stepmother is finding a complex character to dislike when it comes to Lizzie Borden. And so she becomes overbearing and repressive because she's jealous that Lizzie looks at her father in an inappropriate way. And the father's arrogant and domineering and has to have everything a very specific way, and is very rude to Lizzie in front of the stepmother because he has to come off as if he would never be like that, but really behind closed doors for a long time he's been cultivating a inappropriate relationship with her. Okay. So the father figure may have indicated that he wanted to relinquish responsibilities for the troubles of Lizzie and for her to find a way to go on without having a relationship with her father. But she was very selfish and throwing a tantrum because she didn't want that. She wanted to, he's already, been doing that with her, and now he's come to some point where I think we should see other people. He's like, I don't think we should go on about this. And she's like, but I just want you all the time. She's a child. She's young. She's necro. Ew. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Oh, hey, Lake Superior. I don't do personal readings. Spirit has guided me to not do personal readings right now. So that was the conflict that was leading up to this. So let's see if we can get the day it happened, like what that looked like. Where should I go for that? I'm being led to Women Who Run with Wolves. Let's see. Kinds of mothers. Wow. While we can interpret the mother in the story as symbolic of one's external mother, most who are grown up now have a legacy from their actual mother, an internal mother. This is an aspect of the psyche that acts and responds in a manner identical to a woman's experience in childhood with her own mother. Further, this internal mother is made from not only the experience of the personal mother, but also other mothering figures in our lives, as well as the images held out as the good mother and the bad mother in the culture at the time of our childhoods. As an adult, there was trouble with the mother because she didn't want to accept a duplicate mother in her psyche. She didn't want to accept that this was her new mother because she was being treated. She was conscious of reasoning the role of mother. Her internal mother wanted values and ideas about what a mother should look like, act like, and as one's childhood culture. In Jungian psychology, this entire tangle is called the mother complex. It is one of the core aspects of a woman's psyche, and it is important to recognize its condition, strengthening certain aspects, righting some, and dismantling others, and beginning over again if necessary. The duck mother in the story has several qualities, which we'll analyze. She is all at the same time an ambivalent mother, a collapsed mother, and an unmothered mother. She was forced away from her instincts, and so she was taunted as being a child who is different, who is divided emotionally. So the results that she created in her mind collapsed, and she had to withdraw from caring about other children. She had to alienate herself because her main wound is losing her mother, and then being treated like a woman by her father through the inappropriate relationship. That also led to jeopardizing her safety in her own community, and so she is she is in her psyche collapsing Abby as her mother and almost like interjecting herself as the new mother. So she's looking at Abby as otherness, as somebody separate, trying to interfere with her being the mother because her father put her in an inappropriate relationship at a young age and she had already lost her mother. So she has no, she's creating in her psyche what she thinks would be the ambivalent mother. She tucks her head and dives in. She's forced to make a decision that's not fully, but partially in her consciousness. She bends to her desires rather than aligning herself with her inner child. So that's what Spirit was saying in the beginning, that she was projecting her anger at the wrong person. She should have been projecting her anger at the father for putting her in the inappropriate relationship that would have, in her psyche, made her the mother. Instead, he's having a relationship with her that's inappropriate, and also having a relationship with someone who's the face of the family now, the new face. Okay, so she acted out in her well-founded fears to shut out the community because she was being ignored and regarded as suspicious, because within herself she felt like she was being destroyed, like she was being ignored, because the father doesn't openly treat her the way he treats the stepmother. Oh, thank you, Lake Superior. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for being here. The education system failed this poor lady. She reads at the 4th grader level. So her wound is a mother wound, and the father putting her in the inappropriate relationship acted as her feeling like the ugly duckling, like she was divided between the father and the mother. And so she felt punished because she can't recognize that the relationship between her and her father is inappropriate because it's her only source of love, but she's viewed as an object, as another object by the father of his desire. And so, but he can't let anyone know that. So he punishes her and persecutes her in front of people. And so her response is abnormal because it's treated as a threat. And it goes into psychic or physical violence because her instincts is to preserve the love that she got from her father that she never got from a mother. She's trying to preserve that, I guess, psychologically. That's why she becomes unhinged. Because she's pinned between punitive action and torn between accepting her village and her ruling class and her role that she's playing, and being the biological child of someone who's putting her in an inappropriate relationship, or separating herself and exiling herself completely from the family and starting over. But she's not somebody who grew up in a house where she was taught independence. She's taught, it's that elitism. She's part of a family that's it's not appropriate to talk about your emotions. It's not appropriate to show any kind of weakness or defying of the authority figure. And so that's why it was a burden that was hanged on her head, where the stepmother's constantly starting fights with her and trying to control her. But Lizzie Borden considers herself the mother, and she is directly threatened by the stepmother because the father is the one that accepts outwardly the stepmother as the face of the family, as the mother, but Lizzie Borden does not accept her because the father also has an inappropriate relationship with her. And so pond, yeah, they're both in the same pond. Okay. Wow. And so at the extreme, burned and murdered for defying the village prescriptions and sheltering the unsanctioned child. Yeah. Unbuffed. Wow. So she tried to have endurance when it came to dealing with the stepmother, but, you know, over time, she became mean-spirited to each other. They both became destructive. Every day was like a battle for obedience instead of consulting with each other and going for love and forgiveness. It was rituals of force. It was rituals of, you know, societal expectations. It was a ritual of not showing compassion to each other and not confronting the actual person that was creating these two forces to be going at each other. Okay, the father never wants to talk about the affair. He never wants to talk about, you know, his role and how he played a role. He's always saying, no, we don't talk about that, because he doesn't want anyone to know the truth about his role in it. And so it just bred this really volatile environment where there's and, you know, the siblings are like, I don't understand why you can't like the stepmother, but she, you know, she can't tell the other siblings about the relationship she has with the father. So that's why the siblings, nothing happened to the siblings. It's the parents, the stepmother and the father. And that's why the stepmother got more whacks than the father, because she doesn't understand that she's projecting her anger at the wrong person. And the stepmother is too. They both are. It was just a fight where two worlds, a narcissistic mother, echoes of malevolence, two malignant narcissistic mothers fighting. That's what this is. That led to a real threat of psychic and physical violence. It was a crime of passion, and the person that it was directed towards mostly was the mother, the stepmother. You know? I wish you were far away. When a mother collapses, she lost her sense of self, and she becomes the malignant, narcissistic mother who feels entitled to be a child herself. Okay? Wow. Oh my gosh. So she did it. She absolutely did it. She felt like she was forced to make a choice. And the fighting and the inability to accept responsibility from the father, and don't get me wrong, Lizzie and the stepmother are both malignant, narcissistic women. So and the father could possibly, obviously has his own issues. These are three malignant narcissists all in one room fighting about the love of one man, you know? Wow. That's wild. I just need a minute to absorb that. Yeah, Lizzie felt invisible. You know, it was like a trap for her. It's like she can't talk about how her mother died. She has no mother. The only mother she has growing up is this woman who may have had a role in taking out her own mother, and so she's got anger about that. You know, that's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of unkept emotions right there. Wow. Guilt. I just saw guilt. Feelings. Unfinished business. All right. I think we got to the bottom of that. So she absolutely did it. We know why now. So what's the lesson? What do we know now in retrospect? What could we have done differently? What is the valuable lesson in all of this? Call to authenticity. Call to authenticity. You know, it's like if Lizzie Borden knew she couldn't, her father didn't allow her to if her father is outwardly treating her horrible in front of people because he's trying to present an image that he's a strict, respectable, disciplinarian father that's well respected and is this rich, wealthy man, and he would never, do what he's doing with his daughter. He's going to treat the person he's abusing the worst. Okay? Oh, thank you so much. In order to deflect any type of association, association to his daughter. Now imagine being, oh, thank you for all the super chats. I didn't realize I had so many. Thank you so much. Now imagine being Lizzie and watching the father show attention and affection outwardly to the stepmother who possibly had a hand at taking her mother away. That's a lot of anger. That's a lot of resentment. And starting fights and never ever questioning the father. Even though she knows deep down she's not being authentic. She's not calling him out on his bullshit. She's directing all her anger to the wrong person, and so is the stepmother, frankly, because according to this, the stepmother knows about what the father does, and the father wanted to stop having a relationship with the daughter, but it's too late. It's too late. You've already developed this attachment with the daughter, this cord, and it's too late to just choose the stepmother now over me. I'm the mother of this family. I'm the one who takes care of you. I know what you like. I know your secrets. I know what's true. The stepmother doesn't know what's true. So a call to authenticity, true expression, fearless authenticity, bold living, beyond boundaries, break free from limitations and embrace the limitless potential of your soul. Expand beyond your boundaries and step into your true power. Limitless potential, expansion, spiritual liberation. Yeah. There were no boundaries here, okay? And so Lizzie Borden didn't know, or I don't know if she didn't know. It kind of feels like she just didn't know that she could, or maybe she didn't believe she could. I don't know. Maybe she was limited by her beliefs to create a boundary. She thought that if she created a boundary that she would be separated from the wealth and the name of the father. But who cares? Who cares? Your father does not show you unconditional love. He keeps putting you in a competition against another woman, and you're his daughter. So it's like, who cares? Just leave without anything. You don't need anything from this man. Leave soon. Spirit just said, leave soon. So if you're going through a situation where your boundaries are constantly crossed, and it said that song, nine lines crossed. The father's constantly pushing the boundaries. Okay? And so if you are afraid that you're going to not be a part of the family's wealth and inheritance, who gives a shit? Do you think it's worth? Are you happy? Is that what's making you happy? Staying in this toxic dynamic, begging for love? Just leave. Leave. Take everything. Take the shirt on your back and start over, because this is an environment, well, it's conditional love, and you're never going to have these people be authentic. They're never going to admit the role they played. And so that's an explosion. It just exploded. It was just an explosive dynamic that she just couldn't take it anymore. She snapped. Good parents listen. Absolutely. Good parents do listen. Cosmic alignment was in reverse. Yeah. Money, staying because of money and family name is never in alignment with divinity. Divine love never is unconditional. It's completely unconditional, and it will never be impulsive. It will never be disloyal. It will never be unkind. It's always 100% unconditional love. And so if you're in an environment that doesn't treat you that way, then it's not cosmic alignment, and it's not going to end in happiness. Those are two different vibrations. If you are in that environment and you think you're going to get something beneficial out of it, but you got to put up with a lot of bullshit, no, that's not how it works. You have to take yourself out of that environment and start over. And you can't take anything from that environment with you. Not money, not clothes, not emotions, nothing. You got to start over and know that whatever's meant for you will find you. Okay? Oh, one more. Let me get one more. Light of truth. Thank you, Spirit. The light of truth dispels confusion, offering clarity and insight. Follow its guidance to uncover deeper wisdom within yourself. Illumination, revealing wisdom and inner knowing. Yeah. You know, when you feel invisible, when people in your life make you feel like you're less than, that's the sign. When they make you feel, if someone in your environment is making you feel like you don't exist, that's not love. That's not cosmic alignment. That's the truth. That's the truth, because if they really loved you, you would exist. They would make an attempt. They wouldn't. Okay? What's yours is yours. Share it if you want to. Greed kills. Don't be greedy. Absolutely. Oh. Thank you, Holy Divine Spirit. Thank you so much to Lizzie Borden for sharing your point of view with us and how that happened. You know, it was just in a time where there wasn't a lot of forensic evidence. She could have wiped the handle clean, you know, no fingerprints, but and she lived in the house, so it's like, of course there's going to be other forms of evidence that she's in the house because she lived there. So the point is that we hope that this reading shed some light of truth on the emotional hangups that caused this explosion of energy that allowed a portal to be opened for unholy energy to be stuck in that vortex, in that place. We hope that this clears out any negativity and transmutes the energy so these souls can be set free and they can go home. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We post every weekend for you, every Saturday and Sunday. We do not reveal ahead of time the people we read because we end up having problems when we do that. It gives the powers that be time to try to infiltrate. So we don't tell you ahead of time until the day we do it. So I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it has to be. Spirit wants me to start doing certain readings on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we're going to try to do that possibly between 8 and 10 a.m. It's always going to be random because, again, when Spirit said blind, we can't give away a like true strict schedule, because powers that be try to stop the messages. I'm sorry, spirit burps. So we try to blind them to those things. Thank you so much for all the gifts. And then one last thing before we close out, we just want to say thank you to all of you guys that come and support and give us love and share energy in this way. I know that it's really different and unique, and it's not considered normal. So I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to just show up and just do our thing. And we do feel we want to say thank you to Spirit, because all the readers and all the true God's messengers, nature always finds a way. And by doing these readings, even if they're collective reads, the Spirit chooses what messages need to be said by certain readers that are walking in their divine path for their role that they're playing at this time. And it's revealing the truth. And that's why so much truth is coming out on a large and on a macro scale and a micro scale. So I want to say thank you to Spirit for really, showing up in this really unique, magical way. You can't stop the truth. The truth is the truth, and it exists whether you like it or not. And eventually all truth must come out, and we have to purge the energy fields of all of these things that were done in a very low dense time, so that way we're a little bit lighter as we go into the new earth energies, and we start being activated with our spiritual abilities, and we start encountering our emotional hang-ups, and we can release those things. So that's why we show up here. That's why we do this. There's a much bigger picture that's going on here that we couldn't possibly fathom with our human minds. And so we just have to trust that God knows what's going on and to answer the call. So I really implore all of you to really do your own healing. Use these reads as a way to ask yourself questions about what needs to heal within yourself. We hope that it helps in any way, shape, or form. God is my best friend. God is my best friend. Yes, absolutely. So I love you guys so much, and we'll see you soon. Okay? I should give you my story. I want to say this. I was raised by a demon. Demon my dad, but I'm here and I'm happy because my real dad is Yeshua. Absolutely. Absolutely. What the fuck is love? Everyone cheats. Trust none. Oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're only going to attract people that match that energy if that's what you believe. But the truth hurts so bad. It's the truth can hurt, but it can also heal. It's like a Band-Aid. It's like a Band-Aid. I love you guys so much. Thank you to Spirit. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.